Yeah, when you're all dried out and you crumble up into a piece of paper, I'll call you a dum-dum.
Okay, we can be dum dums together.
Dum dum.
Did you ever hear about the dumb guy who came on a social audio chit chat app and said he wasn't going to eat food or drink water for 3 days to do an experiment so he could come back on here and say, "Hey, dum dum."
Man, what a waste of damn time.
It is by the juice of Safu. It is by will alone. Prove to us you are a mentat, Sasha, by restricting your caloric diet and drying out like a piece of turd.
Hey, fat asses like you can definitely get skinny fat by just not drinking water for, I don't know, 72 hours or so. Then all your fat will break down into water and glucose. And so you'll have energy. And
This is the type of shit that Abby says. Instead of going to the gym, it's you always hear this type of shit too.
You're the type of retard that would just discount anything that seems unreasonable.
See, this is the difference between somebody that goes to the gym and somebody who has eyebrows like a fucking caterpillar. Okay? When you go to the gym, you know, you are working on your body, and when you eat, you are working on your body. Like that's it. It's called gym and diet. That's it.
And when you don't consume, you're also working on your body, retard.
That is restriction or abstinence for the sake of what?
Well, fasting does work.
Of optimizing and being efficient.
Fasting works, but fasting and not exercising does not work. Exercising is the secret. It's the thing that requires willpower, requires action, burns calories.
I don't understand people who don't exercise.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it either. I could never date a girl who doesn't work out, doesn't lift weights, doesn't do cardio, doesn't stretch, doesn't sweat. It's like, well, how do you exercise? They always say, I go outside. I go hiking.
You know what? I know people that have exercised every day for like 5 years and they're still fat.
That's because they don't go to the fucking gym and work out.
No, that's what they do.
No, they go to the gym and they use their cell phone. I see it every day. I see people sitting there looking at their cell phones on a piece of equipment that I need to use. I don't bring my cell phone with me to the gym. I go there and I fucking work out. That's why I go there.
That's right. Or they're the bitches that be on the fucking treadmill going like 1.2 miles per hour.
Yeah. After the age of like 25, they all get fat.
No, that's not true. The girls with the nicest booties always do Stairmaster.
Oh,
they know what they're doing. They work it.
I find it disgusting. The females that I haven't been to a gym, so I don't know. But I find it disgusting. The females is just like they do all the whore exercises, all about their ass and their thighs and shit. And
I love it. I find it disgusting at all. To listen to this guy.
I find it.
Yeah, we need more big booty bitches.
So wait, Sasha, do you think are you an incel, Sasha?
Yeah, sort of.
You're like a mentat cell.
How is he an incel if he's married and have children?
Exactly. I mean, I get laid, but I'm still kind of an incel.
See, Abby? I wasn't wrong in my estimation.
No, you can, you idiot.
Huh?
He
called you an idiot. Did you not hear him, Abby?
Well, you can whatever.
You can definitely have intercourse frequently and still be an incel. Incel is a ideology or philosophy.
Okay, well.
Basically, Calvinists.
True meaning of the word.
Do you think there's a correlation between Calvinists and incels?
What's a Calvinist? It's a sort of Christian.
It's like a predetermination Christian.
Oh, I forgot.
because the only reason I bring it up is because if he comes in that room again, in this room, his name is King David. He's an N-word cell, and it's kind of funny because he's like super aggressive and saying all this sexual shit to Abby, but he's a King David, the Schwartz N-word cell. He was in this room earlier.
Did he say sexual stuff or not?
Yeah, he was saying all kinds of vulgarities.
Because he hates himself.
I know.
I would hate myself too if I was a nigger. Oh, sorry.
Well, you are what you say you are. You know, you just said you would hate yourself if you were an N-word. You just became an N-word real time there.
Well, it's okay.
In the moment. Because in the moment is all that's important. Do you think it's important to come on social audio chat apps and say, thank God that I'm not an N-word?
It is very important.
Is it really how you saw your life? You know?
What's the fascination with the pointing downward?
What do you mean pointing downwards?
Pointing downwards in the N-word culture. This is what I don't understand, right? Because like every
Wait, are you saying like N-word commentary culture, or are you talking about like black rooms?
I think I'm just talking about the culture of the N-word people. What's with the pointing down? Because it seems like a lot of media, not media, just the culture, you know, like what the N-words enjoy doing, and the culture they consume. To me, as an outsider, it seems like pointing downward. Like it's not like okay, let's be responsible, let's get a job, let's do. It seems more like let's blame everyone else, and let's cry, complain, and not do anything.
Zach, wait, sorry, I hate to interrupt you. Zach is speaking in a room. But it's not coming through, Abby. I can't get the audio.
I don't hear it.
Zach is so funny.
Which Zach is it? With the H or with the K? Is the cerebral palsy one?
Yeah. Hey, Zach, I'm with Abby. Hi, Zach.
Let me talk to him. Zach, why you block me because of the fucking curry bitch Nita?
Oh, Nita's in the room right now.
Oh, hi, Nita, fucking bitch. Are you over your mommy issues yet?
Maybe they can't hear me.
Is that why every nigger fucking rejects you every time?
They can't hear me. Somebody. Yeah, I had an X room going.
Like not even a black person wants you.
She's kind of got a pretty face.
Oh my god, have you seen her body? No, you ask them.
Darren, why did you buzz me? Zach, yes, Zach. That's just
No, y'all ask yourself. The fuck?
Nita is so ghetto.
Here, I will show you how my body looks like. You will be like,
because you're you buzzed me.
all this dumbass shit.
I didn't know you took it to her.
What's wrong with y'all?
I thought it was a random black chick.
You need everything. Here.
You know, like,
I need everything.
Okay, listen to these N words.
The fuck?
Why are you in the same room with your accounts? Oh my god, stop it.
I know, I wanted you guys to hear yourselves. That's why I said listen to these N words.
I mean, at least cover your fucking legs when you have cellulite like that.
That succeeds.
You think that's a pretty face?
But
But this is where I say that America is in the long run going to harm itself by what it's doing. And Canada will figure out how to survive.
Alan, why don't you tell her to go to a
From the
gym?
American here, the American perspective, we say, guy runs for office, he wins. Part of the reason he wins is he's going to stop fentanyl, for example. But another is that he's going to balance the trade situation around the globe, claiming that we've made terrible trade deals with all of our partners, right? And so now he says, okay, we're going to impose tariffs, and our biggest partners and our countries on our borders are Canada and Mexico. How do you do Mexico and not do Canada? How do you do one without the other?
Well, it's proportionality, Mark. And I think Daniel is making this point. I mean, if you have 0.275, 0.3% of all illegal border crossings across land borders into the United States coming from Canada, and about the same 0.3% of all fentanyl coming across into the United States from Canada, and yet you're applying the same 25% tariffs. This isn't proportional. Furthermore, the trade imbalance that the United States has with Canada is primarily based in oil and gas, and yet it's specifically those sectors that Trump is only imposing a 10% tariff, which is actually running away from his own principles and rhetoric about reconciling the trade imbalance. It doesn't make sense.
And I think it's a fair question that you ask, let me say, but I will also say that the concept of cruel and unjust punishment is an American value. It matters, right?
Yeah, no, I
When you're dealing
understand.
with a partner,
Is this perhaps how people justify is they're just saying we're going to balance the trade deficit, we're going to work on this issue, we have our grievances, we're going to bully you. They shouldn't do that. I'm not saying I agree with this. We're going to bully you into doing this, and we're basically going to punish you all the same, even though there's different proportions, different issues, drugs.
if it gets you a good result, then it's okay. Is that the basic idea?
I guess so. I think that's.
I think you're trying to be fair. I think you're trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm just going to say the harm that has to be caused to do that, if you feel you have this trade deficit thing, which is honestly in the best, fairest, nicest way I can say is a smokescreen. But regardless, if that was a serious thing that needed to be done something about, you could easily resolve this with what happens when the war is over. Because you know what happens when the war is over? We all know. It's called an agreement. We can't skip the war and go to agreement. That's possible to do. It doesn't lessen your power to do that, especially if it's with a friend.
No, I hear you, but I'm saying I think it's very possible that it's almost that simple that they just are imposing, the same penalty on anybody that doesn't listen to our new leader who's using his bullying tactics.
Let me offer this clarity if it means anything to anybody else shares this idea. Trump is a one-man band access power. I don't think it's a they. I think it's a he. Here's why I make this case, right? I'm not a deranged syndrome thing, right? He walks in and he sweepingly shuts off the faucet of all money inside the country, then shuts off the faucet of all money outside the country. Sorry, I had an echo here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So they turned off the faucet outside. Yeah, I've got it.
Okay, he's trying to speak.
Yeah, can you hear me now? There we go. Yes?
Go ahead.
We can hear you.
Okay. So he turned off the faucet inside the country, he turned on the faucet outside the country, because no money is leaving Washington unless I say so. That's basically what that was. Of course, he had to stop that in 24 hours on the inside, then another 48 on the outside, has left some collateral damage where people don't know if they actually have a job. He's just sent rampant fear through the entire system. This is not about shrinking government. It's about deleting it. As Rachel Maddow made a very effective case, point-by-point case, like a court case, on Monday night of last week.
Well, you don't mean deleting the entire government. I mean, he is going to delete some of the government. I mean, he's talks of it's not a secret.
Yeah, I know it has sounded like that. And I never supported him or anything, and I have my reasons why I've been very public, but I think that I didn't fear it was as bad as I actually now believe that it is. I think there's an intention to delete the government because what it leaves in its vacuum is more of a purpose for the leader to make the decisions that the government can't otherwise. Delete it.
I mean, that's a bit preposterous, to be honest. Okay.
Yeah,
We've been having a long discussion, so maybe you just listen for a little. He's saying Trump's deleting the government. Like, what the hell is it? Okay, have a little respect. These are your elders here. I want to.
Well, look, I'd just like to say it's very disruptive what he's doing, and people are in fear. And so the media, like Rachel Maddow, probably won't have a job soon based on what is trans. I mean, a lot of people,
I'll hire her.
It's disrupting so much. No, you can't. But I'm just saying, it's very scary what's going on to people, especially those that are part of what Trump would call the deep state. And how big is that? Is it half the government? Is it 10% of the government? Or is it one? Maybe you think the government's not corrupt at all. It does a great, efficient job of things. But most people believe. I think even Democrats here believe. People that don't support Trump believe that there's tremendous amount of waste and overlap and fraud and all of those things. And these people are very frightened of what's coming because it's affecting them personally, their livelihood. And you're seeing screaming and yelling and all of that. The media, it's going to get worse too, not better for a while anyway. But I think you will see a lot of people. When Elon Musk bought Twitter, what did he fire? Like 70% of the people or 80% or something? And yet Twitter now is probably better than it was before. I mean, it isn't necessarily a bad thing to be tremendously disruptive to something when there's as much waste and fat and corruption as there is. And like I, for one, am really excited and enthusiastic about it. In spite of all the pain that's going to cause, I think if we're just kicking the can, and if we didn't do something about that, it would just be a matter of time until the whole thing would blow up, and we'd be a former great country. Our currency would go to shit, and we'd have no country left.
So the only case then for this much overhaul that you're talking about is such an awfully corrupt system that's so far gone, and the people that Rachel was making the case of with quoting and having with the receipts and everything and video, she laid out a case that there is a statement like yours in solidarity with yours that we're at end stage disease of this democracy, because the vice president now of the United States in office right now was put there by Peter Thiel. Like, whether you love Vance or don't love Vance, that's an objective fact of history. This is a man, does some incredibly adventurous things, and also clearly is honestly, transparently made the case that he does not love democracy. And they both follow people who make statements, intellectually about what it really takes to make America free is to get rid of our dictator phobia. This is on record. And Vance himself, in his own words, when he's asked, well, who is it you follow when you think of, like, who are the good thinkers that help you frame policy? And he mentions this specific man who says this. Now, if you don't want to take my word for it, you can go, search our house called Is There Enough, and you'll hear a recording where we broke this down, so I don't have to waste your precious time recreating it here. But I don't think it's a completely unfair examination to ask, is it more than just shrinking government going on here? That's not just a derangement syndrome question. I think it's fair that every citizen think about whether that's possibly going on and what to do about it.
See, I'm from the camp of like, I really like and admire Peter Thiel and the companies that he's built from PayPal on up, and the same with Elon Musk. And I think they're much younger than me, actually, but they're geniuses, and I'm excited to have people like that attacking the problem of big government and waste and what I for one think that's a good thing. It could very well be that the way that our government has grown and grown unchecked, and now it needs to get corrected back to where it should be, and it could be that the powers of the executive branch have been diminished by special interests who control. It's more easy to control I actually ran for Congress just a month ago or 2 months ago, for Congress or senators.
People should say thank you for your
No. Well, I'm actually doing a lot right now, so I'm maybe involved. It looks like, but the thing is, I'm just saying that in my own view, and by the way, it's Republican, Democrat, it's bipartisan. The amount of corruption and control by special interests that's what we're trying to get rid of. We're trying to get rid of that system and replace it, perhaps, and it's not perfect, but where maybe the executive branch, through executive orders and other means, has more of a say. And this deep state, by the way, which is really what controls the government. I mean, the Congress will make laws, but they may or may not get implemented by departments which have grown unchecked for generations now. And it really needs a big, well, anyway, my view, it needs a big, massive cleaning out. I'm not smart enough to know which of those departments have to go. Like, I campaigned on eliminating the Department of Education, like firing 100% of the people and closing that department. In my view, it's not helpful. It's the opposite of helpful to educating children. So all of that money is going literally for nothing. And my opponent disagrees with me, Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people who think we can really eliminate lots of the government. And in fact, that's what I think I mentioned earlier. This business of this Department of Commerce resignation and whatnot. We found Elon Musk sounds like he's a big part of this, that they've discovered that there's not even like a system to check where any of the money has gone from the Department of Commerce. I mean, it's like a massive scandal that nobody's talking about. They're trying to get to the bottom of it. I'm very suspicious that we're going to find that billions of dollars have been funneled all kinds of places that we don't know about. Foreign countries, foreign governments, but large powers that have control here, and people are going to go to jail. And I'm not talking about just Trump's enemies, although clearly, if you will suspend disbelief and believe that there really are some sort of sinister forces that have been controlling government for a long time and getting rich off of it, then a guy like Trump is absolutely their enemy, and they would do anything to stop him, including killing him, which they've tried twice already. And that's where I think we're at. We're in the middle of all that.
We need to get rid of USAID. USAID is one of the...
You want to say what?
No, I said we gotta get rid of USAID.
USAID was reportedly.
Oh, USAID is terrible. Like, I ran a business. I had like 300 employees in Haiti, little crappy shithole country, and we had an embassy there, or have an embassy there, and I had employees. My grandfather started the business, so I've been there 50 years. I'm running it. Now this is going back a ways, but the only other people on the island that were that spoke good English anyway were the USAID guys. So I worked out at their gym, and I hung out with them a little bit, and I've never seen such fraud and waste in my life. Like, every dollar that went into USAID that then went on to Haiti was not one penny of it went to do anything worthwhile. It went to pay for those people and to do studies and to pay grifter type NGO
100%.
Organizations.
Fuck all NGOs.
But it's a complete disaster. I hope they do eliminate. I should say it. I'm sure they do some good things, but it's unbelievable the amount of waste. And I think most of the voters in the United States agree with that, and that's why Donald Trump won.
No, No, fuck them. Do you see what Elon posted today?
What did he post?
Okay. USAID funneled $53 million to EcoHealth Alliance. Oh, there's an echo. You have to mute one. Yeah, okay. So, USAID funneled $53 million to EcoHealth Alliance, which used U.S. taxpayer funds to support gain-of-function research on coronaviruses at the Wuhan lab. 100%. So, prior to the virus leaking from the Wuhan lab, there was research done for different coronaviruses, and they were using the actual gain-of-function research. They were slicing up to see if the different elements. And one aspect was that the furin cleaver site in the actual coronavirus that came to the world, they were inserting that specific one into different viruses, and then somehow magically one evolves, in Wuhan all of a sudden naturally with that same.
That is so wrong that it's like comical. USA doesn't do that. It's NIH, first of all.
No, hold on. But they funneled $53 million. No, hold on.
No, but that's not how it works. That's wrong. That's not how it works. That's for public health. That's not.
Yeah, it's not their business. USA.
So that's wrong.
I mean, there's a big thing that Fauci gave Wuhan lab like $5 million. That's something probably too. But this USA, that's wrong. It's not their business to find the virus research lab, right? So there's no way they can get that money, approved.
Okay, but they found the money through EcoHealth Alliance.
Yeah, that's. No. Oh my god. Dude, that's not. EcoHealth Alliance is a public health initiative.
Mic check it.
Like, just because the word health is on there does not mean.
Joel, can you hear me, Joel?
Okay, hold on. Let me finish real quick, right? Because I actually been. Now you shut the fuck up. Yeah, good. Listen, one last thing, very, very quick. The vice president of EcoHealth Alliance is who? Peter Daszak, right? Peter Daszak is the one who originally stopped any fucking mention of the lab leak being the origin of the virus in 2020, early 2020. He is the fucking reason. He had a fucking conflict of interest. He's the reason why everywhere around the fucking world you were not even allowed to speak on a lab leak. Sorry, I'm done. And he's the vice president of EcoHealth Alliance. Okay.
I mean, Elon did tweet it. He just tweeted it.
No, I've been talking about this fucking 3 years ago. Finally people are talking.
What about that is new? What? I mean, if you watch MSNBC, you never heard
What's
that.
new is that Elon found out. Hold on, this is what's new. Elon found out that USAID funneled $53 million to EcoHealth Alliance. This is a new thing.
Okay, well, I knew that Fauci and NIH granted them the money, right? So this is in addition to that?
That's what it seems like. That's what it seems like, yes.
Oh, I see. Wow. But either way, we know that we funded gain-of-function research. And how messed up is that, right? The U.S. funded that, whether it came in one direction or another.
Do we understand how USAID monies get spent?
Okay, Joel.
Elon did use a very strong word, tweet today that he said USAID is a criminal organization, something like that, because there's two USAID officer got stripped off of their responsibility because they forcefully, basically using physically against the Doge people going checking their system. So they may have a physical fight.
Also, apparently, USAID was like funding heroin production in Afghanistan. That's another tweet.
That might actually not be off base. So, USAID money is like, there's an oversight element to it. And the only time there isn't an oversight element to it, like for direct funding that's like pretty much public info, is when the CIA gets involved and they're doing like crazy shit. Like the reason USAID exists isn't actually because we want to give aid to other countries. It's because we want to embed people in other countries vis-a-vis the needs of like government NGOs. And it's like, oh great, we have a good excuse to have some people there. Like it's just a
Joel, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I heard.
We can't hear you now, William. We lost you, William.
Guys, I remember I was telling you about USAID in Haiti. I forgot to tell you all those all these guys were CIA. I mean, that is true that it's a front a lot of times for the CIA. So the CIA, when they operate in these foreign countries, they're never a CIA. You know, their title is like agriculture liaison or something with USAID. That's very true.
Mark, I agree with your premise about there being all these people that are just on the payroll and not really doing much. I have experience in this type of field, and there's all these kind of, highly educated, well-spoken people. They just talk a lot but don't really do anything, and they don't, they have nice pensions. They don't really have incentives. There's no metrics. They don't get anything.
Yeah, Richard's trying to clean house in his institution. It's absolute hell on earth.
I'm not replying to where I work.
Okay, I didn't say where you work, Richard. But the point is,
Where do you work, Richard? No, I'm joking.
okay, you know what, Wi-Fi, that's enough. We're not here to joke around. But I do have one question for Joel. I heard that a lot of money from USAID gets channeled through these kind of foreign employment programs where U.S. corporations basically get subsidized cheap free labor paid for by the feds. Is that accurate? Is that?
Yeah. So the way it works is like if you need mosquito nets made in the Congo, right? Well, the USA doesn't have a fucking mosquito net manufacturing spot, right? And a lot of times locally, if you're in the developing nation, right, you don't either. So you partner with typically U.S. based, but sometimes it's European based, partner. And they're like, hey, can you make this shit for us on site because it doesn't make too much. Sometimes it doesn't make too much sense to import it. Other times it's just kind of like a double economic initiative, right? If that makes sense. And then what they say is we'll subsidize you X amount, so that way it's pretty low risk adventure. Oh no, by the way, if you want to use those that site for anything else you got going on, perfect, right? So yeah, that happens a lot. Most of the time it's pretty straightforward. Sometimes there's some nefarious things that go on, just in terms of once that subsidy is in place, once the money leaves USAID, there's not really a lot of oversight on it outside of outcomes. So in theory, after a certain amount of time, there's supposed to be economic development metrics that are supposed to be met, and then if they're not met, then the whole shit gets kind of torn apart, which happens. But you don't have the same oversight checks as if you would in a traditional NGO or within USAID itself, right? There's not anyone.
Well, it's funny how you omitted those important details, Joel. You just glossed over hand wave.
I mean,